There was a lot of Star Wars universe news going on this weekend as Star Wars Celebration drew to a close. Included in that news was our first bit of official information about the upcoming film Rogue One, which we now know will officially be titled Star Wars Anthology Rogue One. The official short synopsis reads like this. A band of resistance fighters unite for a daring mission to steal the Death Star plans. John, buy or sell this new information on Star Wars Anthology Rogue One?
I buy it for several reasons. Let's start with the title. I really, at first, when I saw Star Wars Anthology Rogue One, it took me back, but I thought, you know what? That's great. It clearly sets up the distinction between your main Star Wars storyline involving the Skywalkers and the Solos and where that goes, and what are the other stories in the Star Wars universe, just by what's in the title. I love that. And if you saw that little teaser clip, that's not from the movie because they haven't started production of it yet, but just that coming out of that forest canopy in the cave and then out, and then you just see the huge Death Star on the horizon. It's like, that's awesome. I also like the synopsis, although it's a bit of a surprise. We were all expecting to hear a band of bounty hunters are going after. No mention of bounty hunters in this whatsoever. So either A, they're trying to keep that under wraps even though everybody's been talking about it, or B, surprise, surprise, the internet was wrong and it's not about bounty hunters who are hired to go and get it, and it's going to be a Boba Fett-centric movie. Maybe it won't be now. Maybe all that was complete bull. But either way, I like the way they presented this. It felt good. I liked it. So for me, it's a buy, Mark. It's
such a smart play for them to kick off a spin-off series with a movie like this. I mean, I was in the arena when they played the trailer, and the excitement was palpable. I mean, everybody was so surprised that we got to see anything. Even if it wasn't necessarily footage from the film, we were all like, this is the movie that we want to see. And it's the way to kick off Star Wars Anthology because unlike some Old Republic story, which I'm sure we're going to get eventually, or a spin-off Boba Fett movie, or a Han Solo movie, or a Salacious Crumb, the high school years. This is a movie that leads so perfectly into A New Hope. I mean, everybody, even your casual Star Wars fan, my mom knows that the reason why A New Hope is happening is because these rebels stole Death Star plans. Right. So to lead in to the classic trilogy, like what they're doing, and piggyback off that story while still telling their own thing, this film is going to be dark. It's going to be a war movie. It's going to be a spy film. What Gareth Edwards said is that the team that he built around him to help him pull off this movie, you have guys and gals that worked on Zero Dark 30, Black Hawk Down, Saving Private Ryan. This is going to be an intense flick. This is the perfect way to kick off the anthology for Star Wars.
Would you say that the excitement was palpatinable?
I want those plans, and I want Rogue One now.
What do you think?
You know what? I didn't get to see the cool shot that you guys are talking about, but I can imagine it.
You will be.
I want to see it. Can you please post it online for all of us people? Who
It's online. I'll send you a link.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, this sounds great, and I agree. Star Wars Anthology, it's like what X-Men Origins wanted to be. Like, you get that like, hey, here's our special brand where we're going to have our spin-offs, and we can do whatever we want, and it's not part of the core story, which is the Skywalker story. So I think it's exciting, and I'm really excited to see what other movies they're going to do. Like, I'm just especially hearing how they're going to do this. It's going to be like, oh, this is after this, so there's not really any more Jedi. So it really is kind of like going to be like a war film. That's what John Knoll is one of the guys who came up with this story idea. He's the first person. John Knoll, I don't know if you know who he is. He's one of the special effects legends.
He also invented like Photoshop.
Created Photoshop.
Yeah. I mean, he created that little orb that you always see pictures of. That's the Knoll orb. So you'll be like, we're capturing the entire room with this weird phantasm ball.
You basically bend a knee to John Knoll. If you don't know his name, you should.
So he came up with this. He was the first person to be an outside pitch. Like, hey, I came up with this cool idea for a Star Wars movie. I was telling it to a bunch of guys, figured I'd pitch it. They were like, we love it. So he's getting story credit, but I don't really know that much more about it. So it's really exciting to see what they do next.
Do you know Knoll was actually being groomed for a while at Lucasfilm to just shift over and become a director there?
Wow.
Which is actually really kind of cool.
I'm sure he'll end up doing it, but I mean, the guy's an insane genius.
Yeah.